Hi, Thriller Movies Recap here. Today I'm going to show you a horror movie from 2019, so relax and enjoy. Spoilers ahead, watch out. Young Adelaide visits the beach with her parents Russell and Rain on her birthday. Russell wins her a Michael Jackson Thriller t-shirt after playing a game at the carnival. Rain complains to Russell that Adelaide might have a nightmare because of the t-shirt and he tells her there's nothing wrong with the t-shirt. They stop by the Whack-A-Mole and Russell plays while Rain and Adelaide watches. After a brief moment, Rain tells Russell to watch over Adelaide while he plays the game and leaves. Adelaide wanders off to the beach and comes across a beach funhouse. As she enters, the light goes off. Adelaide tries to leave as she becomes scared of the aura around the place and the mirror. She looks around and ends up seeing her exact doppelganger. In the present day, grown Adelaide goes on a vacation with her husband Gabe and their two children Zora and Jason. While the family is having lunch at the vacation house, Adelaide feels uncomfortable when Gabe talks about taking the children to the Santa Cruz beach where she had horrific experience. She gets a flashback as a therapist tells her parent she has a post-traumatic stress disorder. The therapist tells her parent to encourage her to draw, write or do anything to help tell her story. After lunch, she tries to convince Gabe not to take her and the children to the beach, but Gabe tells her it would help the kids get over the memory of their grandma that passed away and they have been looking forward to it, and she finally agrees. She goes to the room where she grew up and gets a flashback of the memories of her childhood. On the way, they had a little bit of arguments and conversations. Gabe gets excited as he sees the Santa Cruz beach on the other side of the road, but Adelaide feels uncomfortable and gets a flashback. Gabe gets stopped by a policeman and they see a man being wheeled into an ambulance. As they passed by, Adelaide sees a placard on the man's body with the Bible verse Jeremiah chapter 11 verse 11. At the beach, they meet up with Kitty, Josh, and their twin teenage daughters Gwen and Maggie. Gabe and Josh talks about the boat Gabe acquired and what's required to have in the boat. Kitty and Adelaide sits to have a chat while the kids play at the beach. Jason wanders off after telling Zora and the twins he wants to use the bathroom. Jason comes out of the bathroom and sees a man with his arms outstretched. He goes close and sees blood dripping from his hands. After a while, Kitty tells Josh they should head back and have some vodka. Adelaide freaks out when she couldn't find Jason. After a brief moment of panic, she eventually finds Jason and Gabe takes them back to the house. At the house, Adelaide goes to Jason's room. She tells Jason she thought he was taken and was scared after Jason asks her if she thought he had died. Adelaide tells Jason to always stick with her and she will keep him safe. She kisses him on the head and Jason points to the clock on the table showing 11:11. Adelaide goes to keep Jason's masks and sees a drawing. She asks Jason who it was and he tells Adelaide that he doesn't know. Adelaide goes to their room and tells Gabe she wants to leave and tells him she feels like a black cloud is hanging over her and doesn't feel like herself. Adelaide tells Gabe about her past experience at the beach and she tells Gabe that she feels her doppelganger is still coming for her. Gabe tells her whatever happened was a long time ago, but she tells Gabe that things keeps happening since they got there and it means she is getting closer. Gabe tells Adelaide that nothing will happen and tries to joke about it, but she didn't find it funny. As he apologizes to her, the power goes off. Gabe goes to turn on the backup generator and gets frightened by Jason, who tells him and Adelaide that there's a family in their driveway. They go to the door and see the family standing outside and Adelaide gets scared. She takes Zora's phone and calls 911. Gabe tries to stop her and goes outside. He tells them to get off his property but didn't get a response from them. Gabe goes back into the house and tells Adelaide to call the police and she tells him she already done that and they are 14 minutes away. He panics and tells Zora to get him the baseball bat. He steps out with the baseball bat in an attempt to scare them off, but instead the family begins approaching the house and Gabe runs inside and locks the door. They notice the door opening and Gabe tries to prevent them from getting in, but one of the figures takes the baseball bat and hit Gabe with it while everyone else corners them in the living room. Inside the living room, Gabe and his family get a better look at the family and discover that it's all doppelgangers of themselves, with all of them wearing red jumpsuits and holding a pair of scissors. Adelaide's doppelganger tells them a horrible story about a girl who had a shadow and they were connected together. It turns out to be that the story was about her, the doppelganger, and Adelaide. Gabe tells them to take whatever they can and leave them alone, but Adelaide's doppelganger forces Adelaide to handcuff herself to the table. Adelaide's doppelganger makes Gabe's doppelganger drag Gabe outside while he screams. She also makes Zora's doppelganger pursue her after telling her to run and made Jason's doppelganger follows Jason inside one of the rooms to play. Inside the room, Jason's doppelganger tries to make him perform a trick. He gets scared as it didn't work after trying repeatedly. They move their hands simultaneously and open their mask only for Jason to find out that the lower half of his face is burnt. Zora cries as she runs thinking she has outrun her doppelganger only to see her appear from behind the car in front of her. Zora gets scared and tries to hide but sees her standing on top of the car. A neighbor spots the commotion and confronts them, but Zora's doppelganger murders him with her scissors while Zora runs away. Outside, Gabe's doppelganger makes him unconscious and puts him in the boat. As he drives off, Gabe wakes up and turns off the boat's engine. His doppelganger goes to the engine to make it work. Gabe hits him with the baseball bat and he falls into the water. The boat starts and Gabe also falls into the water. Gabe makes his way back to the boat only for his doppelganger to emerge, grabs and tries to stab him with the scissors. Gabe manages to turn on the boat's engine in time and completely disemboweled him with the boat's blade. In the room, Jason and his doppelganger cover their faces and Jason notices that his doppelganger mirrors his actions almost simultaneously. Jason's doppelganger tries to make him repeat the trick again. As the lighter gives a spark, his doppelganger gets frightened and Jason escapes as he traps the doppelganger inside the room. While holding Adelaide's head to the table, Adelaide tells her doppelganger that her son has been trapped and she goes to the room to let him out. Adelaide tries to take the handcuff out. She reaches for the fireplace poker with her leg and breaks the table, freeing herself. Adelaide goes in search of Jason. He sees Jason's doppelganger chasing him. She takes Jason and they run to the car but discover that the key was inside the house. Zora sees them while running and joins them. Adelaide hears the boat horns and they run towards that direction as Jason's doppelganger chases them. Gabe sees them and signals them to come over. They run to the boat and Gabe drives off. At the Tylers, Kitty tells Josh she hears something outside and pleads with him to go check, but he refuses. Kitty insists. Josh goes to check and pretends to see something. Kitty gets scared and he tells Kitty he was messing with her. The twin comes out of their room to find out what was happening and the Tylers' doppelganger shows up and kills the whole family. Adelaide and her family go to the Tylers' house to ask for help. Josh's doppelganger shows up at the door. Adelaide notices he is a doppelganger and hit him on the head with the fireplace poker. Kitty and the twin doppelganger drag Adelaide into the house. Gabe lures Josh's doppelganger to the boat as Jason and Zora enter the house. They see Josh and Kitty dead on the floor. They hear Adelaide scream and they go upstairs and see the Tylers twins dead. Zora knocks off one of the doppelganger twin and she falls from the top. She fights off the other twin doppelganger and kills her, hitting her severally. Adelaide is shown tied to the bed frame as Kitty's doppelganger stands in front of the mirror. Zora comes into the room and tries to hit her, but she catches Zora and attempts to cut her face with the scissors. Jason shows up and hits her on the head, killing her. Gabe takes Josh's doppelganger to the boat. They fight and Gabe kills him. They unite inside the Tylers' house. Gabe tries to call 911 but it didn't connect. They turn on the TV and find out from the news reports that doppelganger of people in red jumpsuit have been stabbing and killing people. They see a group of individuals holding hands in form of protest. One of them walks to the cameraman, stabs him and the audio goes off. Adelaide puts off the TV and tells them they have to leave. Adelaide tells them they need to take the boat and head to Mexico, but Gabe tells her they should stay since they have everything they need in the Tylers' house. Adelaide tells Gabe that their doppelgangers won't stop coming after them until they are killed. They argue for a while and Gabe finally agrees to leave. On their way out to the car, they discover that the car key is inside the house and Adelaide goes in to get the key. She notices that one of the twins' doppelganger is missing. She runs to take the key and the doppelganger attacks her, but she kills the doppelganger with the scissors in front of Jason. They argue on who drives the car with Zora in the driver's seat and Zora's doppelganger shows up. Zora tries to crush her doppelganger but she climbs on top of the car. Zora eventually kills her when she speed up and abruptly stop the vehicle, causing her to fly into a tree. Adelaide gets down from the car to find her. She sees the doppelganger stuck in the tree and watches her die. In the morning, they drive to the boardwalk and see their car burning with Jason's doppelganger standing in front. Adelaide tells them to wait in the car as she gets down and goes closer. Jason notices that it's a trap. He tells Gabe and Zora and they come down from the car. Jason tricks his doppelganger and makes him walk backward into the burning car and he died. Adelaide's doppelganger appears from behind and carries Jason away. Adelaide goes to the beach in search of Jason and sees the beach full of red-robed doppelgangers joining hands. Adelaide makes her way to the funhouse and goes into an underground tunnel filled with rabbits roaming freely. She finds her doppelganger in one of the rooms and asks for Jason. Adelaide's doppelganger tells her about the tunnel called Tethered and why it was created. She tells Adelaide that those who figured out how to make a copy of the human body but not the soul. They created it so they could use them to control humans like puppets, but they failed and abandoned the tethered for generations, and it continued without directions and they all went mad. They also had a long chat about their childhood, and she tells Adelaide that she should have taken her along. After the chat, they fight and she tries to kill Adelaide, cutting her severally with the scissors. She tries to stab Adelaide from the back, but Adelaide turns and stabs her with the fireplace poker. She uses the handcuff on her hand to strangle and kill her doppelganger. Adelaide takes the key around her neck and unlocks the handcuff. She goes to the cabinet and finds Jason inside. She tells Jason that everything is fine. They go out to meet Gabe and Zora and they drive off in a paramedic van. A quick flashback reveals that when Adelaide met her doppelganger in the funhouse years back as kids, she made Adelaide unconscious and dragged her into the tethered, handcuffs her to the bed, took her Thriller t-shirt and went into the real world to live with Adelaide's parent. From this scene, it is clear that the Adelaide in the movie is actually the doppelganger, and the one we referred as the doppelganger is the real Adelaide trying to get revenge. She looks at Jason and as they smile, he put on his mask. The movie ends with all the doppelganger in red jumpsuit holding hands and police helicopter surveying them from above.
Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.